certain place like cricket versus the steady, I could have become an accountant somewhere?
Yeah, good question. I was in Don Bosco school actually, and Shashi Kapoor was my classmate. We both grew up from kindergarten to 10th standard.
Obviously, you all look alike after Don Bosco.
I'm having lunch with Shashi in a couple of days. He's in a wheelchair, poor chair.
Yeah, you're in a better shape.
Yeah, only just. And when I meet Shashi, he said, I said, how do you pass your time? He said, "Mere do dost hai yaar, tu hai. You come and see me, and Ami comes and sees me. I said, who? Ami who? He said, Amitabh Bachchan. So anyway, it's nice that he's been a good friend from long time. But Udar College, yes, I was in my matriculation, and we were all scared. I was never a brilliant student. I was an average student. I used to play all sports. Football I was goalkeeper for. Matanga Athletic, which was like a first division team those days. Hockey, I played, good standard squash. Almost played for India, squash. And so these are the tennis I used to play good. I think once you play one game, it's so easy to pick up another because sense of timing, sense of balance, coordination, hand-eye coordination, everything comes. So I mean, most sports really, or most sportsmen can play other sports at a decent level, without any coaching as such. We never had any coaching. Lived in the streets of Mumbai, on the pavements, smashing neighbors' windows and all that. But coming back to Pudar College in matriculation, I had appeared for my exams, and naturally you're anxious about the result. How am I going to do? And we had a guy called Professor Changatkar, who was secretary of BCA later, all thanks to me. He used to allow me to bunk lessons and go and canvass for him. I said, that suits me fine. I used to be Metro Cinema, Eros Cinema, publicizing. And he became secretary. I used to just go to a few clubs and say, Professor ko vote dena, give a vote. But he was a genuine guy. He was genuine interest in cricket. So he approached me for the first time and said, I'm Professor Changatkar. I said, yes, good to meet you. And I said, what the hell is the professor doing with me, sort of? And he said, how have you fared in your metric exams? I said, all right, are you hoping to pass? I said, I'm certainly hoping to pass, but you never know the odd subject, kya hoga, kya nahi. I'm certainly, I said, why do you ask me these questions? He said, I'm going to make you a proposition. If I guarantee you that you'll pass in your metric, will you join my college? I couldn't believe that a professor was telling me this, Guarantee. I said, how are you going to do that? He said, I've got my own ways and means of doing that. I'll make sure that you pass in your metric exam if you join my college. I said, wow, what the hell am I worrying for? I'm definitely going to pass now. But I told my friends my result before the results came out. But
so match fixing started much earlier.
But I wasn't involved at all. But that's a disgrace, by the way. We'll talk about that. Yeah, and it's how can you let your own teammates and your own country down? But we'll talk about it later. But I was guilty on this occasion because I did give my word. As it so happened, I passed with 56%, which is not exactly first class or something. But I believe, guys, you get 90-odd% and still don't get in medical or engineering college. 98? I had no chance. 56, I thought I was a genius. I thought I was Albert Einstein. 56%. But anyway, so, are you serious? 98%? Yeah. So anyway, so I passed on my own merit, but I'd given my word to the professor. Now, Pudar College is the most unfancied college. All the pretty girls went to St. Xavier's College or Sydenham College. Pudar College mein kaun jayenge? Only a nerd is like me. But I've given my word to the professor, so I joined. And of course, I captained the college team. We built up a college team. Now I think they're champions, or certainly doing very well. But people like Ravi Shastri, Dilip Vengsakar, they all followed me. They're from Don Bosco, Pudar College, and then played for India. So that I must tell you a story about combined universities, which was my first game against the might of the West Indies. You heard that before.
Yes.
In Lisbon, we mentioned it. As I'm talking to you, I'm reminded about things that are, if you feel you want to interrupt me anytime and ask me a question, Please be very informal about it. Okay, guys?
Yeah.
Are you all relaxed?
Yeah.
That's the main thing. So, I mean, this All India Combined University is at Nagpur. And the All India team were demolished by the West Indies team in like 2.5 or 3 days. You know, they used to eat them up, the whole Indian team. They had no chance against the pace bowling of Wes Hall, Charlie Griffith, and there was another lunatic called Roy Gilchrist. I don't know, you all weren't born looking around you. Do you remember these names?
Yes.
You know, these guys were killers. They tried to kill you first. And if they were unsuccessful, they thought, might as well get him out. You know, these were, and they made no modes about it. You know, that Gilchrist said openly, I like the sight of blood on batsmen's faces. You know. So, I mean, you mentioned a few bruises on my head. Thank God I didn't get one on my head. I wouldn't be here otherwise. You know. But I thought attack is the best form of defense. And the ball is meant to be hit and hit hard, of course. Sure. Otherwise, you've no chance. You know, it's like a battle. You know, he's got a ball in his hand. I've got a bat in my hand. You know, come on, bowl as fast as you want. The quicker it comes, funny enough, the quicker it goes off the bat, because you use the pace of the ball to do it. Anyway, we had this All India Universities match in Nagpur, and the Chief Minister of Nagpur didn't have a clue about cricket. So he said, cricket. Tomorrow, the West Indies are going to meet in cricket match. The better team than the Indian Test team, he says. So the West Indies team were going to rest all the fast bowlers, you know. But when they heard that, they picked the whole team. You know, Wes Hall, Charlie Griffith, Gilchrist, Sobers, Frank Ward, the lot. You know, हम लोग के तो हवा हो गए यार. We were 29 all out. I remember scoring about 17 or 18 and out of that. And I think they must have felt sorry giving us a run. But half the team came back on stretchers with collarbones fractured, skull fractured, you know, wrist in hospital. And we had number 11 batsman called Ranjane. He was, now there are number 11s and number 11s in this world, but he was the worst. He made Chandrasekhar look like Don Bradman. He didn't know which side of the bat to hold, you know. And see half of his players come in stretchers. Didn't inspire a lot of confidence in him going out to bat. Chalo bhai jao, tumhare turn hai batting karne ke liye. हाँ भाई धक्का मारो उन लोग जाओ. He went out most reluctantly. It took 10 minutes to reach the crease. That Gilchrist is going mad at the end of his run up 1 mile away, and he was on a hat trick. He had taken 2 wickets. You know, both come back on stretchers, retired hurt. So Ranjane was fearing for his family and all that, naturally, fearing for his life. So when he took guard, you know, leg stump lete na. He did it only because he's seen other batsmen do it. He thought it was quite fashionable to pass. Otherwise, I'll look up bloody ullu. I don't know whether he stood on his guard or what. But as soon as Gilchrist started his run-up, you know, Ranjane started footwork near the square leg umpire. And imagine this square leg umpire, Ranjane was here. All 3 wickets there. Chalo jaan chhut gaya, to humka out kar lo. I'll go home in one piece to my family. But Gilchrist, equally mad, halfway through his run-up, he saw him at the umpire. So he changed his trajectory and went for him and gave him a bouncer. You know. This fellow put his bat up, and of course the umpire shouting, "White ball, white ball." The ball goes miles up in the sky, and of course the wicketkeeper catches it, and everyone's ready for the next ball. But Ranjane was nowhere to be seen. He was last seen scampering up the pavilion steps. "Nahi, sab theek hai," he said. "I'm perfectly all right. I'm out," he said. That was a perfectly good delivery. But these were the...
Farooq, and you know, we're talking about a time when you faced Griffith and Hall and all these fast guys, and Gilchrist, and there were no helmets. And,
no.
You know, so tell us about what it meant to be batting, you know, what it took to actually face these guys at that time.
You know, the box. Sorry, ladies, you know, batsmen wear a box for protection in places that I can't show. Or I can't... You know what I mean, don't you? Not for Christ's sake. You know? Yeah, they wear a box because that's one of the most... how can I go in detail about it?
The abdominal...
We don't like to... You know, it's quite painful if you get hurt there. And the box was first worn by batsmen in 1868. The helmets were only worn in 1968. Could you tell me why it took 100 years for men to realize the brains were just as precious as